Okay, so I'm going to talk about English language A-level. The first thing I want to say is that it bears very little resemblance to anything you've studied at GCSE, in case you didn't enjoy GCSE English. It's far more open, far less restricted. We do a whole range of things, and I love teaching this, as does the rest of my team who teach it. We do representation, so you look at how you represent yourself, how other people represent themselves through their language choices, through the way they behave. We look at how the media presents other people, how celebrities present themselves, how restaurants or corporations, or how they represent themselves, and how they do that through their language choices. We look at a whole range of topics, so we do things like gender, which means that you look at how men and women speak differently, and obviously the way gender fluidity is changing these days. We're seeing a lot of new linguistic changes coming through, not least things like pronoun choices. So if you're interested in those kinds of changes, this might be the course for you. We also look at the language of occupation, looking at different jobs. It's really quite fascinating to see why lawyers charge the amount they do, because they know Latin and the rest of us don't. And essentially we do things like child language acquisition, looking at how you, when you were little, started to learn how to read and write and speak, which is fascinating because we use your own experiences. We look at language and power a little bit, even though it's not technically on the syllabus, just because it's really fascinating, and all sorts of other kind of weird and wonderful topics like that. From a coursework point of view, for those of you that like to go in with a foundation in coursework, unlike some of the local colleges, we allow you to do pretty much whatever you want to do for coursework for language. There's a creative piece. You can write articles, journalistic articles, if you're interested in becoming something like a journalist, or you can write a children's book for first readers, or you can do prose in the style of someone you love, like Stephen King, or J.K. Rowling, or whatever, aimed at whatever age groups you want. We allow you to experiment with lots of different ones before trying to find the one you really want to do, and we do this over a course of 2 years. So if you change your mind, if you want to try something else, you absolutely can. For the investigation coursework, we've got all sorts of weird and wonderful things going on. People investigating the language of gravestones, people investigating the language of pulp fiction, people looking at the language of serial killers and the letters that they wrote to the media and the police, how they represent themselves through those letters, and maybe try and throw the police off. All sorts of things. If you can find the data and it stands up, you can do that for your coursework. Sometimes if you go elsewhere, they will say, right, you've got to do it on a particular topic, or they even give you the data. So by all means, come and have a look at any of our coursework at any time. It's a fascinating subject. You can go on to do things like forensic linguistics. You can go on to do things like working with children in medicine and helping them with things like speech. Please don't think it shuts anything down. It's absolutely a game changer. I wish it was a facilitating subject, but it's not counted as such, but absolutely it is. It goes with just about every other subject that you could choose. I hope you'll think about English language.